Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another 1v1 in planetary annihilation on the Gentleman's Ladder. This game is going to be between Oxide, ranked number 20, and myself, ranked currently number 5th. If you go type in !top 10 on this IRC here, you'll see that I'm ranked like 9 or something, and that's because you have to play the people above you and get wins to move up in that other division, I guess you'd call it. But I'm having kind of a hard time getting games with these guys. I got to play Klopp's 2 games, and he beat me on a ladder game, and I beat him in a game that we said wasn't ladder. So 1 for 1 with Klopp's today, and able to get some other wins here. And this game that I'm about to cast is a 1v1 between myself and Oxide. So let's go ahead and get into the match. I have downloaded some of the mods that Colin has come out with. The commander health mod over here lets you know if your commander is being sniped or something when you're out microing an army way off to the side of your base. You're out macroing and you're not paying attention. You can go and check your commander's health, which is nice to always know how he's doing. I did the slow bars mod, and that slows down the update rate of these bars here, and it makes the game play just a whole lot smoother. So if you don't have those mods, I suggest you get them. It increases the playability of the game a bunch. So I do the standard metal energy for metal into unit producing structures. Looks like Oxide here is skipping out on a metal to get out an earlier bot factory here, which is going to enable him to get units out on the field a little bit quicker. I think he's looks like he's starting fabricators. He's trying to get fabricators out a little bit earlier. And it looks like he might have had to do a bit of a walk to his 4th metal, and that's why he went ahead and threw down that earlier bot facility. So he's producing metal extractors, got a bot assisting him. And I was just going off in the wrong direction, wasn't I? My commander got stuck a little bit, so I'm a little bit behind in my build. It's kind of annoying at the time, but it happens. So having the first fabricator assist the commander on some power gens and going out for metal. We're you know, not on opposite ends of the planet or anything, but we got a little bit of space between us. I got a nice metal expansion here with metal pretty much surrounding me. Oxide has a nice metal expansion to his 6, and then he's got to come out to his flank to get another nice patch. And then, you know, both of our 6 o'clocks are just filled with metal. So it's a pretty even spawn. Oxide going with the pink and blue this game. And myself, Adjudicator Genocide, going with the white and red. So after some more power gens, I'll throw down another unit producing structure. Got more guys going to metal here. Looking over at Oxide's base, his commander's focusing on power gens as well. His fabricator's going out for metal, laying down a radar to see if any incoming attacks are headed his way. Go ahead and throw him down a power gen, or not, energy storage facility. Continuous fabricators being produced out of the first, and he's going with the, I would say, call-in style, where he gets the air factory out a little earlier. Except I think Colin throws down this energy storage before these two power gens here, but not that big of a difference in the build. Instead of going for an air facility, I'm going ahead and throwing down another bot facility just so I can get more workers out. And since the popular route is that air factory, I mix in a couple anti-air bots to protect my workers from bomber harass. And I go ahead and tell the spinners, the anti-air bots, to follow my fabrication vehicles. Continuous power gens with two people assisting the commander. Continuing to get metal. He's got a scout out on the way. And he turns the wrong direction. Looks like he's going in a circle around his base to see if I'm close by, which is smart. He's going ahead and starting to pick up this heavy metal patch at his 6 o'clock. I got continuous energy coming out with my commander as well, with fabrication vehicle assisting. So another thing that I'm noticing that the good players like to do is harass you with bots. So I'm, getting down 2 bot facilities to start making scampers. They're called dogs now, but I like scampers better, so I'm going to call them scampers. To make scampers to help protect my expansions from any kind of bot harass. And then I'm going ahead and throwing down my air facility. As you can see, I was starting to go negative in the energy a little bit, so I kind of mixed in power gens with my metal expansion. Going ahead and making sure I have turrets interlaced in the expansions. So we got some bot factories out of Oxide, bunch of scouts. These kinda are useless, I would believe, right now. These could be fighters or bombers or something a little more useful. Maybe his economy, that's what he can afford. Starting amp production. He as well has 2 bot facilities making scampers to get ready to harass or protect from harassment. Expanding to farther this clump of metal right here to a 6 o'clock. I'm starting my patrol routes with my aircraft. Going into a pretty early tier 2. After my 2 bot facilities, I'm going into tanks. Mixing in some power gens with my metal so I don't go too negative on energy. So now I got 10-ish workers going out for expansions. I'm slowly increasing the patrol radius of these aircraft to try to get a forewarning of any incoming attacks. Oxide's coming around with a harassment with some scampers. I got scampers ready to defend the harassment, just trying to keep them centralized, ready to react. Some fabbers getting stuck on some energy facilities. It's kind of annoying. Go back to Oxide's base. He's expanding out to this clump still. No turrets here. Kind of risky, but able to get that income boost from not wasting time building turrets. So I'm able to scout the scampers coming in on the flank, so I'm able to send my scampers out to react. I have noticed a turret wall going up on the front lines for Oxide, so I'm throwing up some turrets of my own, just trying to react to his play. Going ahead and moving my ants to the front lines. Building the turrets first since these are the front lines, then I'm going to go ahead and take the metal. Able to have continuous eyes on this harassment back here. I should move these tanks up and continue building with these fabbers, but I just decided to head out to this clump because with my scouts I see that there's not an army over here threatening it. Going ahead and sending out the bots to try to clean up the guys watching my 6. Commander still building energy. Come over to Oxide's base. He's starting to amass a little bit larger army than mine since he's delaying his tier 2 going into an ant spam. This gives him the initiative right now. If he were to attack into me, I would have to kite him back with this army, since the army he's gathering is currently bigger than mine. Right now the initiative is in Oxide's hands. He needs to try to initiate some damage with his superior numbers here. I'm just now starting to get levelers out on the field. Little bot fight back here, just able to clean up these bots watching my 6 with this group of bots. Here comes the attack. The turret did a little bit of work delaying the push. Got some pelters here to help defend the front lines. Lost a pelter there, that's unfortunate. Getting ready to kite the army back so he can't penetrate too deep in my base. I don't want him to get over here towards all these power gens and stuff. He's shooting at the planes flying behind him, and that's got his turrets facing the wrong way, which is nice. That enables me to get some free shots off with the pelter, and allows me to position my army. So he takes out the pelter, some metal extractors and some power gens, but I'm able to rally a defense and make him fall back. And I'm fine with that. And I have flown a couple fighters over here and realized that he's just now got tier 2 up while I'm working on my third tier 2 factory, so I'm just gonna try to catch his army coming in. I know it's probably bigger than mine, so I'm gonna have to kite it with what few levelers I do have in my mix already. Got a T2 worker coming out. So since I know the front is changing to over here, I'm starting to throw turrets along the front where my army is not. So if he tries to come with his reinforcements, I'm not left totally vulnerable. So I'm kiting the army, I'm not trying to fight it because I'm afraid of the superior numbers, but with the extra range of the levelers I have, he takes too many losses attacking into me, which forces him to pull his army back and gives me more time to bolster my T2 force. He's come around with a nice bot harass that I didn't spot and was able to take out just a bunch of metal back here. That's unfortunate map awareness by myself. Meanwhile, he's continuing to expand his 6, building up walls and turrets. So he's not unguarded. I'm continuing to try to not allow this army to attack into me. So I see that I got him out of a position, so I'm going to push in here, and when I push in here, I'm able to keep my distance. I run the bots around the back side of the army to try to get some of these turrets facing the wrong way. As you can see, some of the turrets are not facing towards this army here. I'm able to get some free kills on it and then fall backwards, so that's a pretty good trade. The shellers are doing nice work with the kiting. I think the lobber should be called a sheller and the sheller should be called a lobber. Just because the lobber is so powerful, sheller just sounds more powerful to me. Or lobber, or the sheller just kind of like lobs these little rounds. And yeah, they have distance, but they're not that great a distance. So my wall of turrets is going up nicely on this flank, and my army's protecting this one. This will give me time to move the army this direction, continuously keeping eyes on the army with these fighters, and it allows me to react and position my army without spending a bunch of money on radar at the moment. Going ahead, and I'm starting a lobber, which I think should be called a sheller because it is a beast. Dancing back and forth at the front. Neither of us are wanting to commit into the attack and lose a bunch of our army. He's continuing to expand out to his 6, continuing to add tier 2 unit producing structures, getting ready to come out with a flank with some T1 and T2 mix. I'm continuing to expand to my 6 o'clock as well. Mixing in turrets with the metal. So, trying to keep the larger armor at bay. I didn't notice this. Should have noticed this. I should now be moving forces in that direction. Moving my commander back away from the front lines. Looks like he's going to go start some power gens back in the back. These idle fabricators here could have been throwing up some defense. Takes me a long time to notice this, doesn't it? So throwing up the lobber, it looks like it's getting ready to complete. And then advanced radar right beside it to give it the range it needs. So I kind of wait to build radar until I need it for a tactic or an artillery type structure. Finally I notice the leveler push coming, keep the bots moving on a horizontal pattern to try to get the turrets facing the wrong way, and then go ahead and bring the ants forward to get a little bit better exchanges versus these levelers. When he saw this army coming at him like that, I think he would have been wiser to pull back, fall back with it, but he's probably back home macroing. So as you can see, his base is getting rather large. So look at the damage that that lobber does. Just massive. I'm focus firing. I scouted this with planes and I'm trying to pick at his army. Boom! Just a T2 unit, some T1 units. This is forcing him to react. Just noticing that this lobber is doing damage to him. I think this should be called a sheller. This is a shell in the army, isn't it? Kind of a miss. I got a metal out of the deal. One shot's metal extractors. It's nice. Boom! Just lost another. Look at all those losses there. And it messes up his army movement. That's 11 ants in one shot. Boom! Look at the huge chunk missing out of this army. So that just totally makes me ecstatic. So I move my army forward. Continuously telling the lobber to take chunks out of the army. Now here come the shellers. Look at the shellers doing work. Boom! Another lobber hit. Look at all these sheller hits just wrecking this army ball. Boom! Boom! The levelers can't even get forward to engage. He's coming forward trying to. And just what excellent army trades right here. Look at this. I'm not losing anything. Totally forces him to turn around. And with that advanced radar, I'm able to see. And I'm able to shoot max distance with these shellers here. Boom! There goes another shot from the lobber. Just excellent kills. That lobber is one wicked machine, isn't it? Boom! Just another huge chunk gone out of the army. So that totally just sends me on the assault. He did have a bigger army until that lobber started picking at his force, and then I rushed him into a bad decision where he attacked enemies. So now I'm moving in with two separate attack paths here. I notice my shellers are kind of falling back here. So you'll see the micro that I do with this army. Coming forward, I'm noticing the shellers in the back, so I pull the units back towards the shellers. So now I'm shooting at range. And then next I'm coming in with this assault. Now that I'm pulling his army this way, I'm going to come in with an assault where he's not at. So now I see the army coming back away from me, so now I'm going to start moving this army forward. And just kind of pulling his army back and forth, so I'm able to slowly gain ground towards his unit producing structures here. So once again, I'm not going to chase directly into him. I'm going to fight along a linear path here. I don't want to completely just chase this army and take a bunch of losses out of my assault force. I want this assault force to do as much damage as it can to the base. Trying to keep the units close as I can to the shellers. So when I see him coming in, I grab the front section of the army and keep the back section of the army moving forward, while the front section of the army moves back. You can see how that balls it up nicely and then brings those shellers in closer. And then I'll turn around and come forwards with the front part of the army. So now these shellers are able to rain down hell on the enemy instead of being useless just in the back as he kites my units to death. So once again, instead of diving into the army, I fight linear and then move forward. And I just got a huge superior advantage. So now he's forced to run with the commander. As you can tell, it's going to do some nice punch damage. Going ahead and starting a nuke and some T2 energy, since I am well ahead in the lead and I'm banking too much resources here, trying to spend the money. That lobber just able to totally change the course of the game. Falling back with the front part of the army so the shellers can get in range and do their damage. And then I said, well, I got a big army lead, so now I'm just going to split it in half and send one section of the army this way and one section towards the power. Totally try to cripple him. Take out these power gen and the metal. Split the army going in two different ways, trying to do as much damage as I can. Right now I could probably start cutting this army lateral instead of into the army. See how I'm taking some losses here, kind of chasing him. He started to build some lobbers to encroach on this section, so now I'm reacting with an army out to the pelters, excuse me. So, attacking into him, you saw how much bigger my army was than his, but since he was able to kite me back, and instead of coming in and moving lateral and having his army chase me through his structures, I attacked into it and I lost just a numerical superior force. And he goes ahead and submits since he's realized that I've just carved out the heart of his base. And he's probably extremely in the negatives, while my economy is just booming. Starting just to throw massive amounts of defense up near my 6 o'clock expansion. Well, good game, and thanks for watching, guys. I hope that helps you out with your games that you play either on the ladder or just random